We are live in Fort Collins. It is Wednesday, April 26th. If you're watching this live, I appreciate you joining. If you're watching this on a future date, thanks for watching. This is Live in Fort Collins. We come to you live every Wednesday evening, 6 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. We're going to talk to you about what's going on in Fort Collins, what happened, city council review, developments under review, and we focus on a neighborhood, which this week is Lindenmeier Lake area, Linden Lake, which we'll talk about here shortly. Have a really cool drone video that I shot today, so stick around till the end. We try to stick between 12 to 15 minutes long. Family is upstairs. We are back home. There is still work to be done on our house. We had a 10-week renovation. So for the last 10 weeks, I've been driving from about 30 minutes from the north side of town back south after I dropped my kids off from school, waited for my wife to get home, rushed here, shot video at 6 o'clock, then went back home. So there were nights where I didn't have all my right equipment, and there were nights that the equipment was there. So thank you for being patient with me. I look to really start dialing this in more and more, and really hope to provide value of what all is happening in Fort Collins. If ever you have any questions about Fort Collins, Northern Colorado, especially looking at buying, selling, or investing in real estate, give us a call. Let's jump in. All right. There was an article that came out today in the Coloradoan, and I think it's going to make massive ripples over the next few weeks. On May 1st, the Larimer County will be mailing out new property assessments and valuations. They are expected to go up dramatically. They get revalued on a 2-year basis. So this was up until June 30th, 2022. So values up until that point. So values over the last basically year are not coming into play. So your property had seen some phenomenal appreciation if you live in Northern Colorado, Larimer County, really across the United States. And Larimer County does a every 2-year reappraisal cycle and revaluation. So they said that during that time period, during that 2 years up till June 30th, 2022, there was a 40% increase in Fort Collins. Now, it's not dollar for dollar because there's some kind of breaks that they give and things of that nature, but there's going to be some surprised people, shocked people, and people's property taxes are definitely going to be impacted here coming soon. It's probably the biggest story that came out today and will make waves when they mail out those on May 1st. So you probably want to check your mailbox on Tuesday, May 2nd. I believe that's May 2nd or Wednesday, May 3rd, that you might get those. And honestly, what can you do if you disagree with the valuations? Now, this is always such a funny thing to kind of look at and discuss because people think the property is worth, millions of dollars. But when it comes to property tax time, they think it's worth a few dollars. So if you have a complaint about what you feel is the fair market value up until that June 30th, 2022 time period, you can go in, you can set up an appointment, you can meet with an appraiser, there at Larimer County. They're phenomenal people, great to work with. Generally speaking, they want to work with you and they want to be fair. So don't go in there expecting some crazy discount or anything along those lines. But definitely you want to go in there with some comps that sold in that area, around your area, during that time period. That being said, it's hard to argue that the valuations haven't gone up because prices and sales prices are staying strong. And so anyways, that's something to take into consideration. It's going to be happening next week. We will talk about it on next week's live. But that was an article that came out today. So property valuations are about to hit. Fort Collins, among many other areas, Larimer County are going to be, a little bit of sticker shock coming up next week. And next, Ladera, the Ladera development in Timnath that is trying to bring Topgolf, which did receive enough petitions for it to go onto the ballot. We talked about that last week. But in addition, they came and brought up like a 126 room La Quinta Wyndham hotel situation there. There's going to be a really awesome development there right off I-25 on Timnath, and that's going to be happening for the next many years. And this is just one of the many proposals that Ladera will bring forth to Timnath for them to review and potentially, approve and push through. All righty. That from there, we are looking at farmers markets are coming. Now, there's always been, there's a winter's farmer market that happens, Foothills Mall. But outside farmers markets, let's jump into some of the farmer market that you can go to. There's always one right by my house on Harmony and LeMay. That is between 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Sundays, May 7th to November 12th. Then there's also one at the Fairgrounds Park, 700 South Railroad Avenue in Loveland, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Sundays, June through September. Larimer County Farmers Market, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at, 200 West Oak Street from May 20th through October. And those are kind of the big ones. Well-Fed Farmstead, 2229 West Vine Drive in Fort Collins, 4 to 7 p.m. Fridays from May 5th through October. These are fun. Go support local, pick up some good fresh produce, and enjoy the outdoors and walk around, pick up some goods and some salsas and different things that you can take home and enjoy from and around northern Colorado. All right, that's something that's coming up. Jumping into the city council meeting. Interesting time, because actually this is these city council members are getting like a little bonus time. They're getting an additional 6 months as their session would normally be up in April, because it's a 2-year cycle that generally went from April to April, but we voted to align our time of elections with more of a national time period of November. So these guys get an extra 6 months from April to November to address their 31 priorities, which range all over the place, from trees to air quality and keeping Fort Collins great 24/7. So last night there was a work session which it was only 2 hours, so it's fun to watch and engage and watch what they're doing and talking about. Amy Parsons from CSU came in and said, hey, CSU really loves what's going on, talked about how many hundreds of millions of dollars of GDP the students are bringing in each year, and also how many hundreds of thousands of dollars of salary former CSU students are making in the state of Colorado, which was both pretty cool, but she wants to stay involved with the city. She's new to the position as of 2 months ago. So definitely looking forward for CSU and Fort Collins to maintaining a really strong collaboration, and making Fort Collins and CSU both as great as they can be. From there, they talked about, really the main thing they talked about from there was some of the shortfalls that were some specific areas are going to have, which Parks and Recreation is going to have an $8 to $12 million annual shortfall. Transit, $8 million to $14.7 million shortfall. Housing, $8 million to $9.5 million shortfall. And climate, $9.5 million annual shortfall. And the city, the way that they raise money is, a lot of it's through taxes in one form or another. They talked about property taxes, different methods of increasing their tax base, which some of them are a franchise fee that they would fee to Excel Gas, which then would be pressed on to us, or a substance. So 1 to 5% on alcohol and marijuana, nicotine. A utility occupation tax, 4.5% on natural gas bills. A property tax, 1 to 5 mils. Sales tax, $0.25 dedicated tax, and a large emitter tax. Those are kind of the options that they discussed, and the council members were kind of playing pros and cons of what should go on the ballot for us to vote on, of how or if we are going to implement some of these taxes. Honestly, when I hear a 40% increase on Fort Collins values during that time period and property tax valuations coming out, they're getting a 40% raise for their taxes. I really hope that was taken into consideration. They're very smart people, so I would assume that to be the case. But their property tax base, their property tax income is about to increase, whether it's 20%, 30%, or 40%. From there, really, I'm not in too huge of a favor of increasing property taxes. All about substance taxes, so I probably would vote yes on that. Not too sure on Excel taxes or natural gas taxes, just because the Excel just came up, increased quite a bit. But these council members all kind of said what they did and did not like, and it was kind of a mixed bag. They will kind of talk about that, of what they're going to vote on to then put onto the ballot for us, the citizens of Fort Collins, to subsequently vote on, of whether we are going to increase that, or hey, Parks and Recreation just gonna have to make some cuts, or housing cuts, or what are the other ones? Climate or transit cuts. So it's one thing or another. Either the revenue is going to increase and we are able to get that shortfall, or they're going to have to make cuts. And so it'll be interesting to watch where that comes, and watching City Council, how they kind of navigate that and what they feel is going to be the best for Fort Collins. Now, that was really the end of the work session. Again, it was only 2 hours. There was no developments under review, zero conceptual, preliminary coming through, so nothing to talk about there. But let's jump into Linden Lake and kind of talk to you guys about kind of some stats here. It's a gorgeous area in North Fort Collins. These homes really can range anywhere from $1.2 million to $2.5 million. Pretty decent sized lots, 0.2 to really a half acre to even up to 3/4 of an acre. Multiple garage, 2 to 3 car garage. Homes built in the late 70s up till the early 90s. Wonderful houses, great area, right next to Tavelli Middle or Elementary School. Very quick drive to Old Town. Gorgeous scenery, as you can see here. Tennis courts, amenities. As I was doing the drone today, I think 3 or 4 bike riders were kind of coming through on our way there. That LeMay overpass has been a game changer for this area. You used to, if you were heading south into down LeMay, you were probably, or college or wherever, you were going to get stuck at that train, but no more. They have a phenomenal overpass that I've been driving over the last 8 weeks. One of the videos that I'll be talking about, or pre-recording, doing a pre-recorded video here shortly, is going to be North versus South Fort Collins, because I just got done living in North Fort Collins for the last 8 weeks. We're back home now. Things that I liked, didn't like, lifestyle, South versus North. So definitely, be on the lookout for that. But Linden Lake, it's and Lindenmeier Lake, it's just a cool area. It's going to cut to a kind of a quick video right by the water, and then shoot up to look at the mountains. But this is definitely one of our more expensive neighborhoods in Fort Collins, North Fort Collins, but very desirable. Lots of lakefront properties, and very close to downtown and Old Town Fort Collins. So there you guys have it. That is our live in Fort Collins, and we are back home, excited to get the studio back up and going, continue to try to add value and information about Fort Collins. I'm going to stick around for a couple minutes if you guys have any questions. Oh man, but I am just stoked to be home. Honestly, I've got some work to do yet tonight. Unload the truck. I packed it full. It takes me 30 minutes to get from my house to North Fort Collins. And this is like on the basically border of Wellington. So 30 minutes from the far southeast to far north Fort Collins. And man, the growth and the development, and that North Fort Collins, like Linden Lake, Lindenmeier Lake area is really going to see some massive development with that overpass. They're already talking about it. There's apartment condo units going up along Suniga, and that is all going to just be new buildings here in the very short term. I don't see any questions, so I appreciate you guys watching. Until next time, this is Live in Fort Collins. Have a good night.